Namaste. The meaning of this term is I bow down to the divine in you. This is a common greeting that people use in India. I just thought I should say that in the beginning. So today we will discuss about five aspects of mind. So in the last video, I told you that in the next video we'll discuss about five aspects of the mind that that creates attachments and aversions, which are the root cause of suffering. So I have the book of Yoga-sutras. That is the Yoga-sutra of Patanjali. This is the book that was that gave the ultimate guidelines for yoga. But it's not yoga means it's not just the body postures that we believe here. Yoga is the union with God. That is the real meaning of the term yoga. So I'll read some points here. Yoga is in the form of the seer abiding there. Abiding in the form, in the nature of the seer is yoga. So all experiences that we are having now, you're seeing, you're hearing this voice, you're seeing this screen, and you are experiencing thoughts, you're experiencing sensations and perceptions. So who is experiencing these experiences? So naturally you'd say, oh, it's me. So when we say me, or it's me who is experiencing, did you mean just this body? No, it's not. So it's not the body who is experiencing these sight, hearing, smell, touching. So all these five experiences, that is not experiencing by just the body. There is something inside the body that is experiencing these. Using the eyes, it sees. So in this book, that consciousness which sees through the eyes, hears through the ears, that consciousness is called the seer in this book. So the seer, yoga is in the form of abiding in the form of the seer. So recognizing the fact that we are not just the body, there is a consciousness inside the body, and I am that consciousness. It's like you see a candle burning. The body is like a wick of a candle, and the mind is the glow all around it, the light all around it. So we are trained to believe that the body is, mind is in the body. That's what we are all trained to believe. But the truth is, the body is in the mind. Mind is much bigger than the body. This is a huge step that we need to take in understanding yoga. So, abiding in the form of the seer. Whenever you experience joy, ecstasy, bliss, happiness in life, knowingly or unknowingly, you are abiding in the form of the seer, because it's the consciousness that is experiencing every little experience that we are having in our life. It's the same consciousness in everyone. It's not different consciousness. There is only one consciousness that is taking all these names and forms. It's like electricity. It's not a good comparison, but imagine a room with different kinds of lights. There's 0 volt bulb in a light, and there is another 100 volts light in the room. These are all different voltage, but it's the same electricity that's giving the power for the light, correct? So same way, it's the same consciousness in everybody, every tree, every animal is the same consciousness. So there are certain vrittis of the mind which are problematic and cause trouble. Thus, there are some aspects of the mind that cause problems, suffering. So some aspects help us. So let's see what are the aspects of mind and how does it's like a system, a complex system. And if we understand the fundamentals of the system, it gets easier. So let's see. So first vritti is pramana. Pramana. The word pramana is Sanskrit, and the meaning of the word pramana is asking for proof. The mind asks for proof all the time. It does not it does not believe in true words, or even when we read scriptures, even when we read Bible. Mind does not want to believe the truth. Mind always asking for proof. So when someone says, "Oh, I love you so much," then you need proof. Really? Mind needs proof for that. So it asks for proof. Okay, prove it that you love me. So these kind of tendencies. But when someone say, "Oh, I hate you," there's absolutely no problem for the mind to believe that. It believes that instantly because it's kind of negative. So it loves to believe whatever is negative. But when something positive comes in your life, there's always doubts and question that mind comes with. So that is first vritti, pramana. Pramanas, asking for proof. So somebody says, "Oh, I believe in God." Then the next question the mind asks, how do you know He really exists? So these kind of tendencies that mind is so used to asking these kind of negative questions, and that is its nature. So understanding this will help us to move beyond its grip. So that is one thing, and that's the first aspect of mind, pramana. Second one is viparyeya. So let me read it for you. So another vritti is pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means direct and obvious experiential. Our mind constantly wants solid experiential proof. This is one mode of activity of the mind. Another is anumana, which means it's not so obvious, but you guess, and whatever you guess, you believe in. Anumana. That means wrong assumption. That is another tendency of the mind. For example, let's say our neighbor is sitting in the porch and he's enjoying the nature. He's just sitting there, relaxing. And we come out of the front door and we did not see that. And let's say just I did not see that person sitting there, our neighbor sitting there. When I come out of the front door, let's say it was really cold and I didn't want to be in the cold. So I thought, okay, I'm going to come inside. I don't want to sit there because it's really cold for me. Then let's say I just closed the door, just shut the door. I did not see that person sitting there, and maybe he was saying hi or something like that. Then what the other person is thinking, other person's mind tends to think, okay, to assume, it tends to assume that, oh, I just closed the door because he was sitting there, the neighbor was sitting there, and I didn't want to, say, greet him, or I didn't want to be in front of that person. So that person's mind can assume that, and he can be angry. Next time when I see him, he might not even smile. So this is just an example. It did not really happen. So my point is, mind has a tendency to assume things in a wrong way. So wrong assumption, that is another vritti, anumana. It is called anumana. And then another vritti is agama. So agama means some people believe easily. So the mind tends to believe when a group is saying something. Let's say on social media, somebody posted something, and it's so for the mind, it's so easy to believe it, and it tends to believe it when it is said by a number of people, or a huge group is following something. Mind wants to do that, wants to believe that. It's easy to believe that. So it has a tendency to do that, to follow the group without checking it's true or not. Okay, so that it has another tendency like that. So it's called agama. And another vritti is nidra. So it come when you listen to spiritual knowledge, or when you are in the church attending mass, mind tends to slowly slip into sleep. So it has a tendency to just be blank, or go to a sleep state, even when it's not your bedtime, or you're not really sleepy. So it has a tendency to just shut down. It doesn't want to hear it, especially if it's spiritual knowledge. So these are all vrittis, 5 vrittis. And there is one more, that is smriti. Smriti means always, the mind always always tries to take you back to the past, especially if there's something negative, things happen, and if it's bothering. With small with a small incident, it would trigger that memory and make you make it painful. So there is another tendency like that. So it's called smriti. Smriti means taking you to the past, um, even without your permission. You don't want to stay in the past or live in the past, but mind does have a tendency to bring back those memories that are most painful. So tell me, is mind your friend yet? No, it's not. So there is this these five vrittis, that is pramana, pratyaksha, pramana, viparyaya, vikalpa, and nidra and smriti. So these vrittis, viparyaya is wrong judgment. Wrong judgment is, let's say, you're sitting and waiting at an airport or train station, or you're just waiting there, and a lot of people are passing by. You're just looking at them. Then the mind starts judging. For every person, there's at least a sentence of judgment. Did you ever notice it? I have. So when we are aware of mind's tendencies, it's playing. It's playing. We might not be aware of it sometimes, but it makes judgment for every people, every situation, everything. So mind has a tendency to make judgments, but we never know. Mind does not know what these people have been through, or what their experiences, or what their life is like. We don't know, but still mind wants to make judgments. So when we are aware of these tendencies, we don't purchase those thoughts. So thoughts will come, the mind is playing, you just ignore it. So when we are capable of doing this, we are beyond this vritti, beyond this aspect of the mind. So point is to move to that point where you are aware of your mind's tricks and plays, and these vrittis will these elements, aspects of the mind, understanding these aspects of the mind will help you move to another level where mind cannot bother you. So another point is, this is from the scripture called Bhagavad Gita. There's a famous verse that's talking about the mind. It says, "Uttare datmanatmanam na atmanam avasadayed." Uttare, this is Sanskrit, and I'll translate it. Your mind is your best friend, and your mind can be your worst enemy. So it's your responsibility to train your mind and uplift your being. So we do have the power to know and to understand these hidden tricks of the mind and move beyond that. So once you move beyond the grip of the mind, life is in another level. You can experience your life in a completely different way, in a positive way, where you are the owner of your mind. Your mind does not own you. So it's like an owner. A person has a dog and he's walking his dog. So if the dog is not trained, he's going to run with his leash, and the owner would be running behind the dog, correct? It's just like that. If we don't train the mind will own us. At least that's how it would experience. It would be your experience if you don't train the mind. And so, uddhare. So how can you train the mind? How do you get that power to train the mind? There's one sutra, one verse that explains it. When you have complete faith that God is right here and now, no matter where you are, no matter what you do, God is right here. If you have this faith, it's you you can easily go beyond the grip of the mind. How? So this verse is called Ishavasyamidam Sarvam. This is coming from Upanishads. Upanishads, these are the fundamentals of spirituality, and it is regarded as sacred texts in India, Upanishads. And that verse is it goes like this: Ishavasyamidam sarvam, which means Isha means God. Ishavasyam, it's all God. Whatever you see, God is taking that form for you to see. Whatever you hear, good and not so good sounds, everything is God. Whatever you touch, it's all God. There's nothing else here. So this is the ultimate knowledge that Upanishads give us. So based upon these texts, people were able to, in ancient times, people were able to move beyond and beyond the mind and find out the truth within themselves. So how to move beyond the mind? We have to understand how the mind works. That is the first step in this understanding the system of the mind. So, having strong faith in these verses, in these scriptural texts, people were able to do that easily. So the sutra, it's called sutra, that those lines that explains a lot of meaning, and it's like pregnant with meaning. These lines, these small lines, it's pregnant with meanings. It's just one sutra that you can explain everything. It's like that. So it's called Ishavasyam idam sarvam. It's all God. So it's Brahma Purataha. God above, God beyond, God on the left, God on the right, God on the back, everywhere. God is everywhere. So, trusting these words, we are able to have that faith, unshakable faith inside us that yes, it's all Him. It's just a matter of time and of play. This life is like that. It's just a dream that we are having for a few years. It's a long dream. So, how can we make this dream a peaceful dream? At least a peaceful dream. We have to understand the aspects of the mind and how we must be able to go beyond that. Otherwise, it would be the owner, the dog owner who went to walk with the dog, untrained dog, and he's controlling where he wants to go, and the owner is running behind the dog. Okay, so understanding these 5 principles of the mind will truly help. So let me review it one more time. Pramanam. Pramana means proof, asking for proof. So when we discuss about spiritual knowledge, mind asks about proof. Where is proof? Where is God? Where is the proof for God? So these kind of questions mind will ask, and we must be able to just ignore the mind, use the mind for practical purposes. Like there are two elements of the mind. One is psychological, one is practical. So use mind for practical things that we need to do every day. Use the mind for that. Book the tickets, or make an appointment, call this, and all for all those activities. Use the mind, but not for psychological purpose. It does not have the capability to guide us. It is not our teacher. It's not our guru. No. It can be our best friend if we train it. So it's like a naughty baby who does not want to listen. So understand this principle. You are not your mind. Understand this. You are the witness of your mind. So who are you? Is it the body that is the witness of the mind? No. You, the consciousness, the formless consciousness, the formless awareness in you. That is you. But you do have a body, but you're not the body. Understand this very clearly. I have a car, but I'm not my car. I have a house, but I'm not my house. It's just like that. You are the consciousness. You have a body, but you're not your body. So, you are the formless awareness. That is witnessing the mind. So, we must have that space available for us to do introspection and to contemplate these things. So, mind, so pratish pramana, proof, asking for proof. Viparya, wrong understanding, wrong assumption. Nidra, that does not want to listen, and it wants to go to sleep when we want to learn something spiritually. Smriti, taking you constantly to the past events that are painful. Understand this. It's the mind. So when you understand, oh, it's the mind trying to take me to the past. When you understand that, you don't go with that thought. You always have the capacity to observe it and ignore it. Do you understand? It's like passing the cloud. Lots of clouds are passing, but you don't have to just hold on to a cloud. You just let it pass. So how do you hold on to a thought cloud? With your belief and interest. When you're not aware, you're just going with the thought. So we all have this ability, a capacity to observe the thought and let go. Observe it, let go. Use the thought if it's useful. If it's for practical purposes, just use it. And other than that, it's not useful anymore. Anything more than that. So understand this. So nidra, smriti. Smriti means taking us to the past. So all these understanding all these aspects of the mind will truly help us to move to a level of peace and joy. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.